Pleased to have with us student-athletes from the Texas A&M Aggies. To my immediate right, Wade Taylor. The man in the middle, Tyrese Radford. And then Dexter Dennis to my far right. So at this time, we'll take questions. Please raise your hand. We'll go to the right on the front. And we're
Dexter, coach has told us before that as a defensive guy that you typically are put on the opponent's best offensive player, so that means you're probably going to see a lot of Jalen Pickett. Just any thoughts from on that matchup and facing him after watching some video of him and things like that?
I think he's an extraordinary player. I think they have a great team. I think their best thing is they know each other. You could tell when you watch the clips and you watch them play. They're very comfortable with what they're doing, which is extremely dangerous. To some, it may not look like much, but they really pose a threat with their outside shot-making ability. And Pickett is also a weapon when he gets in the mid-post area or just all around. He does a lot for their team. So I think it's going to be a great matchup. As always, I'm always on the best player. And I think coach, depend on me to do a lot of things. So it's going to be fun.
And I just wanted to ask either one of the players, Boots or Wade, just y'all's confidence level in Dexter when he goes up against a player like that, on the defensive side.
Start with Wade.
Very confident. I love playing with Dex. He takes a lot of pressure off our team, not just me. Knowing he's going to be on the best player really makes the rest of the team confident because we know what he brings to the table every night.
Same with me. He takes a lot of pressure off the rest of us, knowing that he's going to be guarding the best offensive player on the opposing team. That's the type of guy Dexter is. He's a great defender.
Okay, before we take your question again, if you can state your name and affiliation, that'd be helpful. No, that's fine.
Yeah, we know you, bro. It's
For our transcript people.
We got history, y'all. Sorry.
Yeah. No problem. Go ahead.
Second row.
David Nuno, Texas Aggies. Boots, just you guys play different brands of basketball. They don't foul a lot. You guys get to the line a lot. You guys are a rebounding team. They don't rebound as well. How important is it to dictate your tempo, your pace against what they do?
We know that they're a good team offensively and also a good team defensively too, but we just have to stay within our roots. Don't try to do anything out of our characteristics and just continue to have that belief and faith in each other to go out there and play ball.
We're going to go on the right side, second row, on the aisle. Go ahead.
Mark Passwater's Rivals. Wade, you didn't have the greatest of games in the championship game. How long did it take to kind of put that behind you, and what's your confidence level now going into the tournament?
As soon as the buzzer went off, we got to the locker room and Coach talked to us about how far we've came. Next game, last game. I knew we're going to coming into this weekend. It's going to be a big opportunity for our team, coming from where we came from. So I knew we had a selection show that evening, so it wasn't too hard to put behind me.
Stay on the right side, about 2 rows behind there.
Hey, I'm Sully Engels from Cake TV in Wichita. It's for you, Dexter, man. You play for the Shockers. Obviously, a huge part of the culture there, a huge part of everything that they did there. You make the decision to leave here, and obviously it's paid off. Can you talk about kind of the journey for yourself and kind of what you remember from the days there and what it's allowed you to be so great at Texas A&M?
My time with the Shockers was that's like one of my favorite homes. That place kind of molded me into the person I am today, especially coming into college as like a freshman. And I think as a transfer, it's kind of you never know what's really going to happen when you transfer schools. The portal thing, it's a new thing, it's a new area. A lot of things are being discussed, NIL, playing time, etc. So just coming over here, man, being able to blend that with this guy has been an amazing journey. I've learned a lot about myself and also the coaches and the guys that are with me. So I'm extremely grateful to be here. I've been extremely happy to be at Aggie this past year. So I'm extremely thankful, and I just love being here.
Stay on the right side, second row.
Boots, you're one of the handful of guys on the team that has actually played in the tournament. Have you kind of used that experience to talk to the guys who haven't been here in terms of what to expect and how to handle the pressure?
Yes, and our coach Buzz Williams has did a wonderful job of doing the same thing. Just playing every game like it's your last, even when you're not in the tournament, that carries over. And me being an experienced player, I'm not the only one on the team that played in the tournament. Dexter played in the tournament. KK played in the tournament. Julius Marble played in the tournament. We have a handful of guys that played in the tournament that was able to talk to the rest of the team or just prepare them for this moment. And I think we're pretty much prepared.
Up front on the left, second by the aisle.
I'd like to kind of follow up on that. Wade, you guys are a tournament team. It seems like the last few tournaments, SEC tournament last year, get to the finals. This year you get to the finals, NIT finals. What is it about tournament time that you guys turn it on?
Just believing in one another. Going about it all season, though, not just when it's time to play in a tournament, just building it up from when we started in August. And we know when the tournament comes, it's time to lay everything on the line because it's when to go home. We just try to take every possession and every opportunity we have to just try to go 1-0 in that moment. We don't want to look too far ahead because we know that moment can impact it.
Questions? Boom. Okay, we'll go back to the second row here. On the left.
Olin Buchanan, Tex Aggs. Wade, on Sunday night, y'all said that the number 7 seed, no reaction at all to it. And I just wonder since then if y'all thought anything more about it and if it is something that y'all use to as just an additional motivation if that's needed at all.
No, it's not needed at all. I was talking to them earlier, man, we're just happy to be here. It's a blessing to be here from where we started and where we are now. This is my first time, so I'm super excited. But just hearing our name get called, I mean, that's more than enough for what this team has been through. We're just here to show what we can do.
Any other questions? Still have a couple minutes left with our student athletes.
Boom.
Mallory, anything in the Zoom world? Nothing? Okay.
Let's get it.
That's it, right?
Well, we're going to let you guys off the hook. Best
Thank
of
you,
luck
Mike.
tomorrow.
Thank you, Mike.
Christmas
Thank you.
came early. Thanks, guys.
Yes, Lord.
Nice to meet y'all, by the way. You know what I'm saying? You too, man.
Number 7 seed in Midwest region. They will face number 10 seed Penn State in an 8:55 p.m. Contest Thursday. Welcome to Des Moines, Coach. At this time, we're take questions. Raise your hand. Left side, third row.
Olin Buchanan, Tex Aggs. Buzz, you've told us before that you typically put Dexter as your top defender on the opponent's best offensive player. I would ask, what is it that makes you have so much confidence in Dexter in those matchups, and just if you'll also comment on the matchup then and what you do to try to contain Pickett to whatever degree you can.
Well, we want to be careful what we say publicly about the game and our strategy. Coach is an incredible coach. Spent a lot of time in the NBA, has had a fast rise in college. He's done a tremendous job, and 22 is maybe the best 6'6" guard in the country, statistically for sure. I think Dex's competitiveness, along with his IQ, is what makes him so good. He's for sure the best perimeter defender on our team. I don't think that anybody in our organization would question that. And I think that I've said it to you throughout the year. Statistically, on the glass, I think that's the thing that has changed our team the most, is that he is our leading rebounder while also guarding the best player. He absorbs a scouting report in a way that I've never seen a player absorb it. He does a lot of work away from the office to be prepared for what's in front of him. He's ultra mature in how he lives his life, but also in how he goes about his daily work. He's literally the same person every day. I had no relationship with Dex prior to his arrival. As you know, he didn't get here in the summer because he had to finish his internship. And so in the 8 months that he's been here, his impact, I'm not sure can be quantified. I think he's as big of a reason as any that we're still playing. There's many, But to be able to guard the best player every night and lead your team in rebounding as a perimeter player, that just speaks to how competitive he is and how accountable he is in everything that he does.
Questions on the right side, second row, then we'll go right behind there.
Buzz, Mark Passwaters with Rivals. I was wondering if you could give us a little insight into the mindset of the team right now. Certainly from talking to Boots and Dex and Wade, they seem pretty relaxed, from a distance.
Yeah, I think those guys have probably watched as much tape as I have. Four was texting me at 3:30 Monday morning, and I was like, Four, I have to go to bed at some point. And then when we got back together as a team, we kind of have a routine that we follow 2 days before, 1 day before, and not just those three guys. Everybody within the organization is familiar with the rhythm of that. And Boots corrected me a couple of times as I started 2-day prep. We don't refer to names. Everything is number-based. And I didn't include one of the numbers, and Boots immediately caught me. Those guys are excited. Those guys are thankful. The relationship between those three guys, and there's several others, but I think the spirit between the players is as good as I've ever seen. They've worked incredibly hard to get to this point. They're thankful for the opportunity. They have very low egos. They care about one another. And collectively, they just want to, what do we need to do to keep playing? And that's a lot of fun to be around.
I'm going to go left side on the aisle. Go ahead.
Brent Zwerneman, Houston Chronicle. Buzz, how do you treat tomorrow differently when you have to wait and then wait and then wait for the late game, or do you treat it any differently with your guys?
Yeah. So at home, we have shoot around 8 hours before the game. As long as school doesn't dictate that. But as often as we can, we're going to have shoot around 8 hours before. Obviously, when you get to tournament play, you can't dictate the shoot around. Our shoot around tomorrow is 9.5 hours before, and it's only 20 minutes. So I don't know that there is a lot of excitement to be able to watch the games, but when you're the last game, that's a lot of emotion to watch. So the one thing that I have talked to him about, and I was even telling my wife this last night when the games in Dayton started, one of the groomsmen in our wedding is the coach at Corpus Christi. And so when we got to the hotel and finished all of our day's work, she said, who do they play when they win? And I was like, I don't know. I haven't even looked at the bracket because I've tried to stay in my routine. Like, thankful we're playing, understand the stage, completely aware of the platform. But I think a part of our success, Brent, is just stay in such a narrow lane that you almost become unaware of other things. And so that's one of the things that I've mentioned to our guys is it's okay to be happy and excited and knowing what's happening, but we have to still have the maturity to stay locked in. If it was anything other than the NCAA tournament, I would probably try to create some distraction, but I don't think that we have to do much different than what we've always done. It'll just end up being a longer nap time. That's what we call it. Like when we finish praying at the very end of shoot around, guys, hurry up and leave. We got to get to nap time. And so they're making fun of me because I don't ever sleep, but I guess we'll get a longer nap tomorrow with it. What time's it supposed to start? So it'll be 9:22 when it starts.
Question up front.
Hey, Coach. Two totally unrelated questions. First, where is Manny and kind of in progression and getting himself back? And second, is there a memory from when before you were a coach that you remember about an NCAA tournament that you kind of fell in love with the tournament?
Yeah, Mo's done really good. And Mo's helped us. And I think the way that Mo has helped us is he's not tried to have this grand entrance like, hey, I'm Mo and I'm back. I was telling him as he was sitting out, I know this is not fun, and I know you don't want to hear me say this. This is actually going to be good for you, because I don't think that there's a better roommate for you to have on the road than Dexter. And I don't think that there's a better example for you to sit on the side and watch than Dexter. His maturity, his approach, his consistency, his impact on the game without having the ball in his hands, all of those things that you're watching and all of those things you're hearing, you're learning it in a different way because you can't be out there. I think his self-awareness is better than it has ever been. There's been a couple of times when we were in Nashville, Travis, when I took him out because I knew what I just called he didn't know. That's not really for any other reason than he just missed 8.5 weeks of the season. But I think he has helped us. And I think that it also changes the complexion of our team just a little bit in a positive way. But I think as it relates to his career, nobody ever wants to get hurt. Nobody ever wants to break a bone. But I do think that the wisdom that has been acquired will be good for him long term. Where I grew up, we didn't have cable TV. You couldn't get it on the red dirt road that I grew up on. So CBS, NBC, ABC, and then there was a local station, KTVT. It was Channel 11. We got 4 stations. And I remember all of it.
Got time for 2 more questions on the right side. Back row.
Way in the back, BenJonesStateCollege.com. Most of the guys that Penn State's leaning on are products of the portal. You guys obviously had success in the portal as well. For a program like Penn State that maybe has had less success in the tournament, less success getting to the tournament, has had to rely on more cyclical things. As someone who's been around for a while, how do you think the portal changes the algorithm for sustainability of success?
Whoa, boy, I like your question. Coach has done a phenomenal job. We've played Penn State twice in my career as a head coach. James Franklin is one of my heroes. I do think the portal has changed the model of college athletics. Every coach has a different thought process. And also, when you take a job, to some degree, it dictates what you have to do. And the portal is just another avenue now available. They're the oldest team in the country with multiple portal guys. But when he took over for Coach Chambers, not sure that there was another option that made them better / more competitive quicker. And obviously, offensively, what he does is very complex. And I think he's taken the skill of those that have only been to one school and those that have been to multiple schools and done an extraordinary job teaching and coaching how they want to play. And the more I watch, and with each passing day, I kind of have more confidence in understanding what they're trying to accomplish. As much as there are so many layers to what they do offensively, I think what they do defensively is very sound as well. And I know that he's an offensive genius, and he's deserving of all of that credit. But I think a portion prior to him being the OC at Purdue, I think he spent most of his time in the NBA as a defensive guy. And you can kind of tell in here's what they're doing on offense, but you can't take away how sound they are defensively. And I was telling our team, like green is really good and red is really bad and yellow is somewhere in between. Their team is distinct green or red. There is no yellow. And it's because they're very committed to what they're doing. They're not turning the ball over. The third least turnover rate in the country. Half of their balls are going to be shot from three. And they're going to shoot more and make more than any team in the country. They're not trying to get fouled because they're not going to the charge circle. They're not going to offensive rebound because they're not going to give up any points in transition. Like, they're very distinct. And I think you can do that. The more mature your players are to understand we're going to be great at this. This is our strength. This is our weakness. And we're not even trying to make it yellow. It can stay red, but the green is going to become neon green because we're going to do it so often. And I think that however you build your program, the more mature guys you have, the better.
Take the final question on the right side on the aisle. Go ahead.
Yeah, Tyler Shaw with KBTX. Buzz, going to Pickett and their backcourt, how exciting of a matchup is it when you look at what you have with Wade and Boots going up, against that in the backcourt?
This is what I would say on that, not to dismiss the question. I actually think that that's how Penn State has beat teams. When you begin to think that it's this player versus 22. 22 is going to beat you every time. And we've spent an inordinate amount of time since Monday. If you give all of your attention to 22, he's going to be the decision maker that beats you. And you have to be really careful in how we play defense. It's not going to be about a player. We're going to be aware of that player, but those other players are why they've won 8 out of their last 10. 22's making the decision, but it's not like 22 scoring 40 points a game. But he is the coach, and 22 are putting those other players in positions that when you make a decision, they're making a decision. And that decision, that second decision, is what has led to their success since Valentine's Day. So do I like our team? Sure. Do I like our perimeter guys? My whole life I like guards. And I think our group has done pretty well. And you could argue that that's why we're still playing. But to zero in and go, it's 22, 22's the decision maker, but those other guys will beat you if you act like the whole thing revolves around 22.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank
Best
you.
of luck tomorrow.